Goddamn masters, huh?
Small might, master ceremony.
Hey, yeah. We've been getting reports of destruction. Massacre.
It's a massacre. It's like Godzilla and King Kong deciding to ride when the UFC 75 live combined. Storm through your city, watch your buildings crumble. Get buried in the rubble when behemoths rumble. The trouble you weren't looking for is right here. Rap style foul, penalty severe. Open warfare, fear fills the air. It's a fact that there's too many actors out here. A beer off strip, I'll rip. Shine through the rust when I bust. Live ammo in the clip, oh shit. Another big hits the dirt. Wrap a circle jerk when we put it in the word. What you eat doesn't make me shit, but it makes me itch like a summer city. I'm full, I keep my ass guarded.
I grab the mic and unleash a verbal massacre. Flows like a samurai katana slashing the metaphorical assassin, Wu-Tang type vibe. The chorus of this bar, the crowd comes alive. I'm a lyrical wizard, mesmerizing with my rhymes, evading your mind, even a paralyzed at times. My thoughts kept plant like lines, it's never ending, creating art. Slow and splendid, got you defended. A wordsmith poet, a master of the game. These lines are lethal blow at night in a lyrical flame. I break down beats, we run them all in shot. Representing that Wu-Tang, hip-hop, solid rock. A strategic chess player and every move precise. My rhymes hit hard, no need for advice. I'm not brainiac, intellectual killer on the mic. Metaphors hitting me like a car crash at night.
Yo, my rhymes spread out like a shotgun. Blah. I don't give a fuck about when, why, or how. Who, what, or where, or anything in between. Cause my bars break down, it's like rocking a triple B. Since I've been on the scene, they knew that I was different. The descriptions that I give them got flows this man hate me. Bringing back the illest new rhymes that's God-given. Turn a cycle to a seance in 6 minutes. I master patience, most weirdos are trying to chase it. That's why I cross the race. That I'm making. Dipset is a marathon, while I'm just steady pacing.
Yes, sir. That's all we got to give. That's all we got to give them right there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I've not done this on IG before, so I'm just, it's all new to me.
Hey, man. It's all right, man. We working it. Hold on. We get what? Damn. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, we in.
I can't see you. I can see me. That's very nice, but I can't see you right now.
Man, that's technology, man. For some reason, that's been happening with me. Even when I did the live last week, I don't know what's going on. Probably Instagram thing, but the masses can see us, which is crazy.
That's the main thing.
That's crazy, though, man. But anyways, man, welcome to Off the Cuff Radio live stream. I'm King Eric, the Media Assassin, and we have a dope MC on the line. We making this connection from U.S. to the U.K. My man right here, Perfect Pete in the building. What's good, brother? Tell me what you got going on. You got a dope album right now. There's a war going on outside. Get that motherfucker right now. It is fire, man. So how's everything going?
Yeah, it's going good. That was my last project as Cuban Pete, which was a name I've been rocking with since, God knows, early 2000s. That was like a nickname that was given to me by friends I used to go out with on a weekend and all that sort of thing. I've not always been the best dancer, so I'd had a few drinks and been dancing, and my friend was like, "Oh, it's Cuban Pete. He dances to the rumba beat." And the name just sort of stuck, and I took it on as an MC name. But obviously, there's been previous people under that name, and etc. etc. So my guy Raph Almighty from Dirt Platoon, he came up with the name Perfect Pete, just because my artwork's always on point, and things I work with him on various things, and he was on my Year of the Rabbit album, but through him and Big Bob, rest in peace. We'd worked on a few projects, and he came up with the name Perfect Pete, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. I was thinking about rebranding for a while, because PayPal I've been pissing about with. they don't like Cubans because of America and Cuba and all that. So they've been blocking a few payments because of that sort of thing. So yeah, I was like, yeah, cool, perfect beat, that'll do me.
Yeah, man. Sometimes, you know, we got to go through name transgressions to, you know, because it represents growth and it represents a period of time period. Like, it makes a landmark. Like, you was here, it's a stage of growth, and now you're here.
Well, yeah, and I'm trying to, not just because of the name, but I'm trying to draw a line and reach that level of perfection that I've been trying to get.
Right.
You know, it's when it comes down to mixing things like that. I mean, I had a bit of a beef with somebody recently, and I dropped a diss track, and you know, I said in my head that I wasn't going to rush it, but then I'd waited a few days to get it mixed, and I wanted to get it out there, but it wasn't mixed how it should have been, and you know, it's like I lost on a mixing technicality. You know what I mean? But sometimes you've just got to like hold back and make sure everything's fine before you push that shit out there.
Right. Right. Because I can tell, even while talking with you and seeing some of the stuff that you post, I can tell that you really take this thing serious, man, in terms of like mixing, in terms of getting your wordplay together, making sure the sound is good, because when you present the sound to the public, man, it gotta be crisp.
Thing is, it didn't always have to be. I mean, I remember, oh god, well, back in the '90s, I was at some record shop in Manchester on a college trip or something, and I picked up a tape, a cassette tape, like back in the day, and it was all like Fat Beats freestyles and stuff. And I mean, some of that shit, it was like they'd stood in their bathroom on like old mobile or something, or fucking dollar store mic, to record. You know, that's how it was back in the day. You know, you did whatever you could. But it was all about the lyrics and the bars and stuff like that. You know, that was why I was a bit pissed off about the beef track, was because the bars were there, everything was there. It was just the mixing, and it was like, well, you know, I mean, because I've got a big thing about, I always tell the truth about shit, and everything I said was the truth. But apparently fans just want to hear perfectly mixed lies. So, you know, what can you do?
Right.
But you know, I've always been like, I've never fronted in any of my music. You know, I'm not going to be there like Bow Wow with the, what was it, with the washing machine airplane window thing, yeah, going on. You know, I just don't do all that business. It's no point.
Yeah, man, it's a lot more, it's less stressful just keeping it real, man. Just being yourself. It's less stress on your heart. It's less stress on your career, man. Just be you. That's what I like about when I interview individuals, because I feel when I'm listening to their music, they're their individual selves.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of I know a lot of rappers lie in their music. You know, back in the day, everybody was catching bodies, and you know, they'd be in jail if they really were. You know, but yeah, you've got to tell the truth. And people like Noriega, there's a lot of more underground artists, because I've always, you know, I'm always underground. You know, it's not like I'm world famous or nothing, um, but yeah, rappers like Noriega, you know, he stood out to me because he tells the truth in his rhymes a lot of the time. You know, if you listen to his music, he's just true to who he is, um, and yeah, it's nice and refreshing.
Absolutely. And going to this project here, man, there's a war going on outside. Talk to us about that project. Like, what motivated the title, number one?
Well, I mean, me and Kinetic have worked together on various things for years, um, and obviously he's down with Killer Army. I mean, I had the title already in my head for a separate project I was doing with somebody else, from obviously the Mobb Deep album, song and everything, and it just fitted basically because of the war theme of Killarmy. And Killarmy's first two albums, especially, were they're both classics to me, and so I just thought it was a good fit, really, overall.
Yeah, it's basically not trying to recreate what they doing, but being inspired and going forward with what they did with your own sound. Because listening to the album, y'all was talking some heavy stuff, man, and it reflects on what's going on with what I would say reality rap today, like what's going on with today's world.
Well, I mean, the problem is when a lot, and I mean 98% of rappers who do anything with any Wu-Tang affiliated artists or whatever, they get the Kung Fu samples in there, the whole bit, and it's like, I didn't want to go down that corny route of slapping W's on my artwork and all the rest of it. That's why I went with more the Killarmy vision of things. Because obviously, I mean, we both mentioned the Wu on the album because, I mean, I've worked with a lot of people, a lot of affiliates, like I was down with Ghetto government officials, with Hellraiser for a while. I took a step back from that recently, but just to concentrate on my own thing. And I've worked with Solomon Childs and various people are hands-on, but I didn't want it to come across as like a Wu-Tang fan project, because you've got a lot of people now, especially with the least verses thing. There's people with the whole Wu Pack, the M80 and Ammo Domino or whatever, released, and you've got fucking people calling themselves generals. Call themselves official affiliates put on by generals, supposedly. And they're doing tracks with least feature verses, which is crazy to me. It's like, well, can't you just call up your general and get a verse off them? But apparently not.
Yeah, that's why I got it. Actually, that's how I got introduced to you, man, because you was the first one that I seen was talking about rappers buying what do they say, the feature packs and stuff like that. Now, do you feel that it's kind of like cheating the game a little bit, or because it seems kind of weird, like that's kind of strange to me. I mean, get how you live, but do you think that's kind of weird? Do you?
It is crazy. I mean, I used to be friends with this guy M80. He was actually he did a voice drop for my first album slash mixtape, Renaissance Man. He was saying how great I was, which was cool at the time. Fast forward to now, and he's not so keen on me. But yeah, he teamed up with Anno Domino or Domini. Anno Domini, that's how it's pronounced. And how come I can get it right and I don't even fucking like the guy, but people he's paying can't get it right? I don't get it. But yeah, I mean, Anno used to do the beats and M80 did the verses, and now they've combined to do both. And they do these packs, but you'll get like 100 people with the same verse, and I mean, I do this as an artist. I mean, not just from the visual point of view, because I do CD covers and T-shirt designs, logos, etc. But obviously from the music point of view, and it's like, why on earth would I want a verse that somebody else has used so many times? It's just crazy, and I get it from a money-making point of view because it hits algorithms in Spotify, and these people. I mean, to be fair, it's generally whack rappers who buy this shit. But they get it, make a track, and they go into Spotify and they got all these streams. But a lot of them, there's a lot of ones that are a bit mentally unstable, I think. And they're on social media saying, "Oh, I've hit this many streams. I've got a plaque off YouTube and Spotify and stuff." And it's like, oh, okay. And they're generally friends with people who aren't really into hip hop and just go, oh yeah, that's great. And it all feeds into each other, you know. But obviously, people like me who are in the business and their other peers or whatever, you know, we recognise it for what it is. It's just fronting and, you know, just fake shit, basically.
Yeah, cause I guess I just come from a different era, man, where you could just, if somebody rock with you out of respect, I'm like, hey, man, let's say, for example, let's get Method Man on the phone. Hey, I want to work with Method Man. Can Method Man send me a verse? So, hey, let's make the track work. Or we can either, do the emails because of time constraint, or we can probably go ahead and come to the studio and work and vibe. But buying a whole pack, and then a lot of these guys is garbage.
Well, yeah, and a lot. I mean, 99% of them are garbage. I mean, but to be
Yeah,
fair, that's a lot of them aren't from the culture, haven't maybe been in it that long or whatever. But you know, they see it as a quick thing, and it's like I get that they want to make money. Um, and there's a lot of middle class white rappers jumping in there as well. But yeah, I get they want to make money, but and a lot of them, it's bucket list rap. You know, they want to do tracks with their heroes, which I get. Um, but if you meet people and work hard, and you know, I mean, I've done a lot of tracks with people that when I first was listening to hip hop, I wouldn't have dreamed of, you know, doing. You know, like I say, the first two Sons of Man albums are classics to me, and I would never have thought at the time of listening to them I was going to be down with Hellraiser and, you know, doing logos for him and being on tracks with him. And I mean, that's the thing with, I mean, people pick up on shit because obviously we're all in this together. We're all on Facebook and social media, but
right.
um, you know, Hellraiser had his medical thing going on. So the tracks I did with him, I got the verses personally off him, but they weren't new verses. But I got them direct off him, so I see it's a little different, but you know, it was a bit of fan shit. Um, and Kinetic, you know, it's all done over the internet because he's where he is and I am where I am. And we've not been in the studio together, but we worked on the tracks together. You know, we came up with concepts and ideas, and you know, it was a proper collaboration.
Hmm.
So that's where I see it slightly different again. Um, but you know, there's people who, and it's especially the ones who claim to work with these people. You know, that, oh yeah, I got down with I mean Snoop Dogg. I mean, I love Snoop, but there's so many people who are like, oh, I've got a track with Snoop, and it's like he doesn't know you exist though, right? And I'm like, yeah, but I've got these streams, and it's like, yeah, but you know he doesn't know you exist, right? But you know, people try and clout chase and all the rest of it. And it is what it is. But
Yeah,
some people don't know better fan wise, and you know, it's fair enough. But we know they're faking.
absolutely. Now, going back to your album, man, one of my favorite cuts up there was the one you did with Krumbsnatcha. Very underrated MC, man. Very underrated. How did you link up with him?
Oh God, I was about 5 or 6 years ago, I think. His manager, Justice. I think I got spoken to him first, and I was doing a logo or cover art or something like that for him. And I got talking to Crumb, and yeah, we just hit it off. You know, we're from a similar era. We've been, you know, going through hip hop stuff the same amount of time and stuff, and yeah, I mean, you know, it it's crazy to me because obviously I grew up listening to Gangstar and all that, the whole Gangstar Foundation. Um, so for the first couple of years we were talking on stuff, it was a bit of a pinch me moment. You know what I mean? He was
Hmm.
he was an MC I looked look up to, and I still do, obviously. But then we got to working on stuff, and we've got a joint album coming soon. We're getting beats together and stuff still. We've been working on it a while, but we both get distracted by stuff, you know, how rappers do. But, you know, when he started complimenting my music, and because I've always, when I first started this thing, I mean, I was doing design work first. And then as I got to work with rappers and stuff, if people couldn't afford stuff or whatever, because most rappers are broke, to be fair, you know, I'd swap a verse for someone for some artwork and stuff like that. And that's sort of how it started with Crumb, I think. But, you know, then he was like, oh, yeah, I'm doing an album. You should drop a verse on this for me. And, you know, it became more than that. He respects my music, and obviously I respect his. So yeah, there's a lot of people out there. I mean, I've got a lot of haters because I speak my mind on social media, etc. And they're like, oh, he must have paid Krumbsnatcha. They didn't get paid in millions or something for verses and stuff. But you know, we're both fans of each other's music, and that's why we're doing an album together. If it was just me doing artwork in exchange for music, then that's what it would be. But you know, we've done a few good tracks together. Checkmate, that's on all over DSPs and stuff. He was on my Year of the Rabbit album, and I was on his album The Key. And you know, we've got a few projects we've been on together. And we just seem to, in my mind, and obviously his, you know, we complement each other musically. So I'm looking forward to this joint album coming.
Dope. And on top of that, man, I just want to ask you, how is the hip hop scene and how y'all appreciate real, true hip hop from the States and UK, man? Because I know that a lot of legends go out there and they tell me it is so much more appreciation and love out there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, I hear that a lot from people coming over here. I mean, I live in small town UK. It's a small seaside town, and there's nothing going on here hip hop wise. I mean, the nearest city or even town has got a little more, and it sort of grows as it goes out. But yeah, generally speaking, the European market does have a lot more respect for the legends, and I do that because not all of them are legends. You know, some people, just because somebody rapped in the 90s doesn't make you a legend. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of classic artists like that, you know, they get a lot more love over here, and it's cool. But a lot of that's down in London. I mean, you can go out down London any night of the week, and there'll be some 90s rapper rapping somewhere, which, you know, I wish I lived down there for that reason. Um, but yeah, I mean, I, I don't know. I don't know why it's a lot more loved over here. Because when you listen to the charts, it's not. And I'm sure it's the same when you hear about UK hip hop in America. I'm sure you get fed from what I've seen on social media, you get fed what we get fed over here. It's all like the grime stuff or drill or whatever. But that's not what people like me listen to over here. It's more people like me.
Right.
So yeah, there's still a big divide. I mean, I've never been a fan of grime. Maybe for the odd couple of tracks, but it's mostly for me hip hop MCs that do the odd grime track that do it better than the actual grime artist for me. And I'm sure grime artists and fans would argue that. But you know, and it's the same with drill. You know, for me, it's the hip hop artists because the lyrics are there, which is why I got into hip hop in the first place. It was the lyrics. And even the people who hate my music or me personally, they might call my shit trash, and I'm sure they do, and I've seen them, but I've never had anybody diss my writing skills because I write good lyrics, and that's where I've always come from.
Yeah, and now going back into your background, man, like what made you be like, what was the moment in your life where you was like, man, I want to be a part of this game. I want to pick up a mic and start rocking.
I mean, it was back in high school for me. I just who was it? This guy. I met this guy who was in my same year or whatever, um, and he was listening to hip hop stuff, and I can't remember how. I think I was playing something in school, and he heard it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I like that." And we got talking, and I ended up going around his house and seeing his music collection, and all dubbing stuff or whatever, and then it's just always gone on like that. I mean, because back in the day, you used to have obviously sleeve notes for cassettes and albums, and you'd see the big thank you list of other artists they were thanking,
Hmm.
and that was a mark of quality, really, because they didn't ever used to thank whack artists. You know what I mean? Um, oh yeah, Public Enemy would thank NWA or X Clan or whoever, Brand Nubian. So I'd go on to like those artists, and it just snowballed from there. Um, but yeah, like I say, I started on the design stuff, doing CD covers and whatever, and just got working with artists. And I'd always, when was it? Tim Westwood, the UK Radio 1 DJ. Um, he used to do a freestyle thing on the Radio 1 show he did. He started off on pirate radio and then moved to mainstream Radio 1. And I remember I was working, um, and I rang in, and he was like, "Yeah, yeah," just I rang in to do the show, and my parents were asleep upstairs, and I was there at like late night or whatever, trying to keep my head as close to the floor as possible, rapping about my curtains and, well, my parents' curtains, wallpaper, or whatever, just anything that came to mind, just freestyling. Um, and Melly Mel was in the studio that night, and he was there in the background doing like the huh and huh, you know. Um, and yeah, it was total. I've still got on cassette somewhere. I want to get it on. I've got a 6-track. I need to get it on hooked up to the computer and sort it out. But yeah, it was just it was just addictive, and I started doing open mic nights when I moved up here for university. Um, there was a lot more hip hop stuff up here than my. Again, I was in a small town down the West Midlands. Even though I was near Birmingham, the second city, and Wolverhampton, which had a big black area, it was very much not until I moved up here that I made friends with people who did the hip hop nights, and um, that's when I started doing more of the open mic nights and stuff, and that's where it sort of kicked off for me, and MCing wise, anyway.
Yeah, man. Because, I always ask that question because I want to know what embarks people's journey to pursue this because hip hop ain't for the weak of heart, man. Like, if you got thin skin, you ain't gonna make it out this shit. I mean, you gotta have some thin skin to pretty much thrive through this, man. And what breaks a lot of people getting in is sometimes hearing the negative comments, or they ain't feeling your music and all. What makes you keep going and doing this, and putting those critics aside?
I just love. I mean, like I say, I've always loved lyrics. That's why I got into it. But um, beats and everything. I mean, just the whole creative thing for me. I mean, since a young kid, I was always into drawing. And obviously, the graffiti side of hip hop, I loved, and I discovered that. But yeah, it's just I mean, sometimes the competition aspect. Um, I mean, I've been in a few battles and beefs. I try not to get into that too much because it's so subjective, and it's like I didn't fall out with Bad Seed, but we had a little thing, and he loved my shit. But his fans were like, "Oh yeah," the fans get so caught up with this shit, and it's cool. It's like when you had the comics as you were a kid, and it was like, "Oh yeah, Superman had beat Batman," and it's
Right.
the fans are crazy for hip hop stuff. But yeah, especially in hip hop's underground stuff on like social media and that, or to be fair, any of it social media wise, the fans go crazy and they all stick up because artists are a lot more accessible these days because of social media. So people feel like they're invested in you a bit more. So yeah, it's difficult beef wise, when you're battling and stuff online and you'll post your video up and their little video, and it's more of a popularity thing, which is, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. Like you say, you need a thick skin. You can't be too worried about what people are saying, because a lot of the people, like I've said before, I say a lot of things online that might rub people up the wrong way because rappers a lot of them are quite thin-skinned and they can't handle the truth. You know what I mean? They when I say stuff, they take it the wrong way, and I get into a lot of arguments online, and it's crazy. But it is what it is. People fall out. Whenever they fall out with you, they're like, "Oh yeah, your music whacks, your music's whack, etc." And it's like I've always got screenshots of them somewhere saying, "Oh, thanks for that verse, that was dope." Or
Crazy
yeah,
part.
that's
Yeah,
that's why I don't take it too seriously because I know what they say behind the scenes, and
hey, you know
yeah,
what? I'm gonna tell you this. This is when you know you made it, man. When people that don't like you start wishing death on you. That's when you know you made it.
yeah, I've got a few people wish that, but
When they start wishing
because
violent harm on you, that's like, hey, I'm
I
doing
did.
something right.
Well, I did a song called "I Don't Give a Fuck." Well, I call it the initials, but you know what I mean. Because yeah, I mean, the chorus was like, "People think I'm gay because I'm not homophobic. People say I'm black because I'm not racist." It's like, and it's true. Whenever you argue with somebody online, they always think you're the opposite of what you're saying. So, if they say me something stupid about gay people, and I say, well, that's not really true, is it? They take that as to mean I'm gay. And, and the same with being black. If they're saying some racist shit, and I'm like, well, that's not all black people, though, is it? And it's like, oh, you're a wigger or whatever, And it's
Oh,
all
that's
just
the
fucking
internet.
shit. Well,
Yeah, that's when you.
exactly. And
Yeah, sometimes that's what you gotta look at, man. Because at the end of the day, 95% of these people are not gonna really step to you. They're not gonna approach you with that type of energy. People say whatever they want on the internet. The internet gave free reign to people that can't fight.
exactly, and it's the same with politics and stuff now. If you, I mean, if you say something negative or whatever against like Biden or Harris, people are like, "Oh, you're a Trump tart." And to be fair, a lot of them are, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. And just because you say something about Trump, I mean, I'm in the UK. If I say something about Trump on Twitter, people are like, "Oh yeah, but look at Biden and Harris. Look at what they've done." I'm like, I'm not condoning that. I can't even vote. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's crazy. It's like I have no dog in this race. And they're both wings of the same bird and all the rest of it. So, but I'm critical of everyone. So what the fuck?
Yeah, man, because if you even say something even favorable, they think, oh, you're endorsing that person or that. I'm like, no.
Yeah. I
A
mean,
broken clock
to,
is right twice a day, but what about the rest of the 22 hours? That's the way
it's
I look at
Jaguar,
it.
it's Jaguar right twice a day. But I mean, in hip hop thought process, I mean, Eminem. I mean, you can't say anything about positive without people saying like how trash he is, etc., etc. And you can't, if somebody calls him trash, you can't say, well, he's not really trash, is he? Because from an MC point of view, he's not. You can't say he's not trash without people, oh, you're a stan. And it's like, I'm not. I didn't even listen to a big period of his music because I didn't like certain stuff he was doing. But he's not trash. But, you know, it's just, it's always like, do you have Marmite over there?
Yeah, man, because I
Oh,
was like, yeah, because I'm like, I rock with Eminem's music, man. I've been rocking with Eminem music since like the Slim Shady days. And I'm also very vocal on when he sometimes goes off the slippy slope, when he start not really focusing on content, but just rappity rapping. But when he on point, he's one of the best ever. And I've catching so much flack from saying he's one of the best ever. Because I'm like, you can't go against not only the numbers, but look at the content that he has. Like, look at the imagination that he has as a writer. Like Stan, Kim.
I mean, I hated all the stuff where he does the different voices. And I hate it when Nicky does it.
Yeah,
But I hated it. I hated when Em did it, and it was just like, I don't know. I couldn't get into the tracks seriously, and it was like, no, I didn't like all that. And I skipped through. He had like a middle portion of his discography where I sort of skipped through a lot of it.
right.
But yeah, when he first hit, um, obviously his first few albums or whatever, fair enough. And his recent albums, what was the one the Beastie Boys covered? Kamikaze.
Yeah.
You know, from then onwards, I've liked what he's done since. But
Yeah, he
you
had to
know,
hear it from us because you know, on the contrary of what these guys believe, they listen to us more so than they think than they think they do. They listen to us all the time. These guys, as a matter of fact, I go as far to say it. There are these hidden bots out here. These guys are disguising themselves in different screen names. That's why they parry our talking points, and therefore that's when all of a sudden they go on songs. I said, hold up. If Eminem mentioned me on the song, I'm about to fucking retire. Straight up. That's why I was hoping when Kamikaze dropped. I said, hold up. If he mentioned my name, then I'm out of here. I told my girl I'm getting the house right now.
well, I'll fucking battle anyone. I don't care if it's Eminem, Bad Seed, whoever. I don't give a shit.
Clout. You need the clout over here.
I mean, at the end of the day, what do you have to lose? Seed. Fair play to Bad Seed. I'm not disparaging him at all. We've got the greatest respect for each other because whether I won, lost, or whatever, and I've had people say I won in my inbox, maybe not on social media, but in my inbox. But you know, he respected me for stepping up because so many people get online and talk bullshit, and then they do nothing. You know, I've had people step to me online, this guy Mars or whatever. You know, it's like they say things online and they'll block you and then still talk shit behind your back, but they won't actually do a diss track or whatever because, for whatever reason. But you know, but yeah, you know, if you got the balls to actually step up and do something, fair enough.
Yeah, that's hip hop, man. Like that comes from battling is a part of the blood sport of hip hop right there. And you gotta believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, then who gonna believe? Even if the masses tell you ain't got a chance in hell. You ain't got a chance in the slingshot. But you gotta have that belief system that you can beat anybody. It's just a confidence marrow. Like if you don't believe you the GOAT, then who gonna tell you the GOAT?
Exactly. I mean, obviously, being the age I am, should I say? No, I'm not going to say the age I am, but being the age I am, being white, being British, you know, obviously, all my career, I've, I can't even I can't say that seriously because I'm not. It's not like I'm some international rap superstar or anything. But all my career, I've had people, friends, family, etc., saying like, "Oh, you think you're some." The ones who don't know about hip hop always say, "Oh, you think you're a gangster," and it's like, no, no, there's more to it than that. And then they'll say, "Oh, yeah, but you think you're Jay-Z or something." It's like, I have never in my fucking life said I'm gonna be anywhere near Jay-Z level. Yeah, I'm quite happy being an underground rapper or whatever. As long as some people enjoy my music, I don't care about the rest of that
Right.
shit.
Right.
Yeah. And I've got my own fan base saying, people download stuff, they stream stuff, they buy CDs. People still buy CDs because I mean, I can see when I go on my Spotify analytics or whatever,
Hmm.
my audience is older, because I talk about older stuff. Um, I'm dropping a project soon. I've got a new website coming, perfectpete.hiphop. And I've got a project I'm going to be releasing exclusively through that. Um, and, I'm talking about things on there that Andre 3000 might not think about for some reason. It's like I don't know. I didn't get his whole thinking about what do older rappers talk about because it's like you're an older rapper. What do you not talk about? I've got a song on this album about my dad who's going in he's in a care home at the moment, and he's got like Parkinson's and the onset of dementia. And I've got a track on there that's talking about that, the struggle of seeing him like that and what my mother's going through, etc. Um, you know, you've got to talk about what's relevant to you. There's no way I'm going to jump on a track and be like some drill beat or something going like, oh yeah, shoot him up with a balaclava. And, that's not me. I'm not going to do that business.
Nah, not at all, man. And going on right now, this is a segue to the next question, man. What are your thoughts? Would you consider it to go? Would you, if this is your choice, would you rather go back to the CD era or you like the digital era?
Now, I prefer the CD era because the whole streaming thing, it's just you've got all the manipulation of streams with the whole stream farms, etc. And I know back in the day, people used to buy CDs in bulk. Even just fucking Nipsey, Jay Z bought 100 copies or 1,000 or whatever of his album or mixtape. But yeah, it doesn't compare for me because when it came to the hard copies, people had to actually get up off their ass that to go to the shop, maybe even get public transport to the shop to go and buy the CD. They might be there like in what's called Tower Records or whatever, or I think there was a Virgin one there. It had like the Tower with several albums on it, and you put the headphones on, you could skip through them and see which ones you liked, etc. Uh, it was just a whole different experience. Even just down to liner notes. I mean, I wouldn't have discovered a lot of the people I grew up with without going through the thank yous and etc. So no, I've got to go with the CD era.
Yeah, man. And we talked about this earlier too about the thank yous, the thank you letters. Because I was always, as a listener and somebody that covers this as a side of the journalist side, I was always curious about that because I was also looking at publishing credits. I was looking at who produced who, sample what. You get a formal education on who the artist is and who they rock with and everything. And I think
Yeah.
that's where streaming robs us as listeners and fans. Because, yeah, you're getting the music, but then the music feels disposable because something else new comes the following week.
Well, I mean, within, I say this on social media a lot, but a lot of rappers are on social media. and they'll have 5,000 friends, whatever the limit is on Facebook. And like 4,990 of those will be other artists. And they're trying to sell their music to those other artists. And it's like, they're not your audience. You need like a separate one for fans, which is the whole point of pages. And I don't know, Facebook fucks people over with the pages because they want to pay for advertising, etc. But it's true, I mean, those people, your friends on there, are busy trying to push their own music. I mean, if I paid for every album I've listened to in the last, I don't know, 5 years, I'd be broke. I'd be claiming bankruptcy because you can't. I've got certain sites I might go on where I might hear other people's albums. I'm not saying I'm a bootlegger. I just hear stuff occasionally. Or even just on Spotify these days. I mean, you're basically paying for nothing. You're paying what, 12 quid a month or whatever it is, and you can hear the majority of artists on there, and they're getting pretty much nothing in return, which is crazy. I like to physically have MP3s or whatever on my computer, but yeah, you can just rent music through Spotify, and it's all just so disposable. There's so much music coming out every week, and even my favorite artists, some of them are dropping like a couple of albums a month. But you times that by so many. Being a family man with my own family, working a day job, doing my own music, getting our music done, and etc. And just relaxing with my people. I don't always have a lot of spare time. So, as an artist, it's difficult. And you see a lot of professional fans who review music, etc., on Facebook, etc. And they're like, oh, well, I listen to all this music a month or week or whatever. And it's like, well, but you're single and you've got a lot of disposable income. So, it is what it is. I'm busy doing my own stuff and trying to get my music out to people. I'm paying for promotion, paying for mixing, paying for DJs with scratch hooks. I do my own artwork and some promotion, but I'm trying to get my own music heard, so it's different. You need that fan page as an artist and try and get people. A lot of promotion isn't happening these days. It's all social media shares and likes and spamming and stuff like that, but a lot of promotion in like hip hop media isn't happening. Because you used to get magazines with like a whole page of an artist, and you go and check it out, and you don't get that anymore. It's all blogs and websites.
Yeah, man, it's just the way the media changes and the way people digest music changes. It's like you gotta now people they go to TikTok to find your music now. Now they go to sound bites to find your music. I'm like, it's crazy. It's like you gotta find your base and make it work for you. That's what it boils down to. Because you go to the TikTok audience, you're gonna be hot for like 5 months, and they're gonna replace you next week.
Well, a lot of people don't even listen to albums anymore. They got shit on shuffle, and I've never been a shuffler. I know some people shuffling every day, but I've never been a shuffler. I've always been an album guy. I'm a completist when it comes to hip hop shit. I used to get every album by artists I liked. Now it's a little more difficult. You got Flea Lords and stuff with like 57 projects or whatever. You just can't do it anymore. It's difficult. It's a shame because for me, it does water down the listening thing because you think, shit, I've missed that and that. And it's just the way my mind works, but it's like I've missed those projects. I want to listen to those first. and then something else happens and you get distracted and you don't go back. And, I used to download a lot of music, like I say, and I've started deleting some of that because there were some artists that I liked where I'd have 27 albums or whatever on my hard drive. And it was like, I haven't even listened to the first one yet. I'm just clicking download because it's easy to do. So I've started deleting a lot of those because I obviously don't care enough to listen. But you don't seem to get that in other genres. You get Adele who drops like an album every 3 years or something. Even Taylor Swift drops a lot more selectively than most hip hop artists these days because it's all. I can't remember who it was, but somebody said about the more music you get out there, the more chance you stand of somebody downloading it, and it's all from a money point of view. The more streams you'll get, etc., etc., and it's true, but the more streams doesn't necessarily mean the more fans. I don't know. It just waters it down a lot.
Yeah, basically spamming the market. And
yeah, basically,
you're spamming the market, and it's just like even when you're in these Facebook groups, it's kind of like just because you spamming the group don't mean people gonna listen.
Yeah,
if anything, that's annoying.
It's like I was saying about the least verses. It hits certain algorithms on Spotify, so people get a lot of streams. And I'm sure they make money off it, and that's great. But when they're doing whack verses on that shit, there's not many of those streamers coming back to check out them. They're only listening because of the features. It's like there's a lot of rappers who rely on features, call themselves collab kungs or whatever. People are only listening to the features. That Russ, big selling artist apparently. I couldn't name a single track. He did a couple of EPs with artists I do listen to on, and it was all feature stuff, which is cool. But I skipped past most of his verses, to be honest, because I've never given a shit about him. But a lot of people rely on features for things like that. And this is from me coming from an album. I did an album, hashtag C75 Friday, and it was all me with features from other artists, but it's all underground artists and people I work with, and people I haven't worked with before. But it was the whole point was to show off my versatility as an artist, from the beats, rapping on different style beats, to working with different people.
That's dope, man. And it's almost 10 o'clock. We might have to wrap it up because I don't want to get cut off while we chopping it up, man. Let people know where they can find your project, people know where they can follow you, and all that stuff. Social media handles, Bandcamp, you name it. The floor is yours.
All over everywhere. If you go to c75live.com, you'll find links to all my stuff on there. I'm on Twitter, C75LiveX, Instagram, C75LiveIG. I'm on Facebook. You're probably on there now. Can't remember. I've changed my handles on there recently because I got hacked. So I'm on there as well. But all the links are on the main website. And like I say, coming in November, I've got perfectpete.hiphop. That's the new website that's going to be coming. And it's working in conjunction with C75 Live. Obviously, the Perfect Pete website is all about me. It's all about me. But the C75 Live site is all about me and artists I work with and shit I like, basically. There's a blog, etc. So yeah, I'm all over this joint.
Dope, man. Yeah, we definitely appreciate you joining us, man. It took us a while to get this thing going, due to the time zones and all that, but we made it happen, man. So yeah, anybody that's looking for the replay of this show, You're gonna see it on Amazon Prime. We got on Amazon. We got on Spotify. We're gonna be on Apple. We're gonna be on YouTube. We're gonna put it on Facebook. We're gonna be everywhere with this content, man. And big shout out to the UK, man, for rocking with Off the Cuff Radio.
Definitely appreciate the opportunity, bro.
Definitely, man. So yeah, we're gonna get back to Facebook. We can start making more people mad.
It's what I live for, bro.
All right, man. Y'all be safe out there.
You too.
All right. Peace and love.